Hello everyone, welcome to Excel Learning. My name is Abhishek Saw and this is your English classroom. Today I have brought the second part of the Cabuliwallah written by Rabindranath Tagore. I hope you understood the first part, what I have explained over there in that particular video, and now today I am giving you the explanation of the second part. I know आप लोग इंतजार कर रहे हो. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. The Cabuliwallah written by Rabindranath Tagore. So we read that Cabuliwallah Minnie is the youngest daughter of the author, okay, and Minnie was very much curious about Cabuliwallah as well as about the bag that the Cabuliwallah used to carry. But one morning the author saw that both of them were, that means Cabuliwallah and Minnie, both of them were talking, laughing and cracking jokes. So without any knowledge, okay, unknowingly both of them had become the good friends, rather we can say the best friends. मिनी एक छोटी सी बच्ची है और काबुलीवाला को देखो एकदम ग्रोन अप, एकदम दाढ़ी वाड़ी एकदम उनका है, बहुत एक भारी एक उनका अपीयरेंस है. फिर भी he was very frank of with Minnie. In fact, he loved to talk. He loved the company of Minnie and Minnie too loved his company. But finally यह देखा हम लोगों ने कि काबुलीवाला जो है उनको पुलिस पकड़ के लेके चले गए. Next, on a charge of murderous assault, रहमान was sentenced to some years imprisonment. So कुछ साल के लिए रहमान जो है काबुलीवाला जो उनको जेल में रख दिया गया. Time passed and he was not remembered. This is the saddest line in the story, according to me. I find so. Time passed and he was not remembered. Okay, actually this happens to us कि कोई हम लोग के लाइफ में जो है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है लेकिन बहुत दिन उनसे मिलते नहीं तो हम लोग भूल जाते. We all forget what that particular person has done in our life. So time passed and he was not remembered. The accustomed work in the accustomed place was ours, and the thought of the once free mountaineer spending his years in prison seldom or never occurred to us. Even my little hurted Minnie, I am ashamed to say. So see, the author is confessing, okay, I am ashamed to say, forgot her old friend. So finally, with growing age, Minnie too forgot the Cabuliwallah. New companions filled her life. Year had passed. It was once more autumn and we had made arrangements for our Minnie's marriage. It was to take place during the Puja holidays. Please underline the sentence, it was to take place during the Puja holidays. So finally the time had come and Minnie जो है उनका शादी होने वाला है. कब? पूजा के हॉलीडे में. The morning was bright. Since early dawn that day, the wedding pipes had been sounding. Wedding pipe means पहले जो था एकदम वो फ्लूट जो था पे 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 करके सब बजाते थे. I know you guys don't like it right now. I too don't like. Okay. Since early dawn that day, the wedding pipes had been sounding, and at each beat my own heart throbbed. The well of the tune, Vairavi, please underline, Vairavi, seemed to intensify my pain at the approaching separation. My Minnie was to be married that night. So on that particular day, from the beginning, okay, from the dawn since dawn only, the wedding pipes had been sounding. और साउंड जो था उस साउंड के साथ जो मतलब ऑथर का जो पेन था, क्योंकि देखो वो पिताजी है, ठीक है, वो पिता है तो वो जो है अपनी बेटी को विदा करने वाला है उसी दिन. सो विद द साउंड ऑफ वैरवी ही वॉज फीलिंग एक्सट्रीम पेन इनसाइड हिम, कि बस और कुछ ही टाइम बाकी है, कुछ ही आवर्स, कुछ ही घंटे बाकी है, मेरा जो बेटी है मिनी है वो ससुराल चली जाएगी. सो द अप्रोचिंग सेपरेशन, दैट मीन्स टाइम वॉज रनिंग आउट, टाइम वॉज पासिंग, एंड एज टाइम वॉज पासिंग द मोमेंट वॉज very near to be separated from Minnie. So that the author was feeling extremely pain. From early morning, noise and bustle had pervaded the house. In the courtyard, the canopy had to be slung on its bamboo poles. The chandeliers with their tinkling sound must be hung in each room and veranda. There was no end of hurry and excitement. I was sitting in my study, looking through the accounts when someone entered, saluting respectfully and stood before me. It was Rahman, the Cabuliwallah. At first I did not recognize him. He had no bag, nor the long hair, nor the same vigor that he used to have, but he smiled and I knew him again. So on that day only, when the author was looking into the account, at that time suddenly someone entered the room, okay, and saluting him respectfully, unko salute kiya. So then at first the author could not recognize who was that particular person. Later he recognized that it was Rahman, that particular Cabuliwallah. But after so many years he had come, so this is the reason the author was unable to recognize him at the very first. When did you come, Rahman? I asked him. Last evening, he said. I was released from jail. So he was released from jail last evening only, okay. The words struck harsh upon my ears. I had never before talked with one who had wounded his fellow, and my heart shrank within itself when I realized this, for I felt that the day would have been better omened had he not returned up. There are ceremonies going on, I said, and I am busy. Could you perhaps come another day? So when the author saw Rahman, that means Cabuliwallah, suddenly he thought that this is the person who had wounded his fellow person. So, and it was the first time for the author that he was talking to a criminal. I'm using the word criminal. He was talking to a criminal, okay, or he was talking to a person who had wounded his own fellow. So the author said that I am very busy now because some ceremony is going on in my house. So can you please come another day? At once he turned to go. So then and there he just turned to go, but as he reached the door he hesitated and said, may I not see the little one, sir, for a moment? Feel the pain. सो जब ऑथर ने कहा कि आप चले जाओ, आप किसी और दिन आओ, तो वो जो है रहमान जो है काबुली, वो दरवाज़ा तक गया और वहीं से रिटर्न आ गया और पूछा कि एक बार मैं मिनी को नहीं दे सकता. दैट मीन्स सी हाउ आई मीन ही वॉज फॉन्ड ऑफ मिनी. लास्ट इवनिंग जो है जेल से छूटा है और आज ही वो आ गया है मिनी को देखने. इट वॉज हिज बिलीव दैट मिनी वॉज स्टिल द सेम. इन फैक्ट इन मेमोरी ऑफ फॉर्मर डेज he had brought carefully wrapped up in a paper a few almonds and raisins and grapes obtained somehow from a countryman. So the Cabuliwallah had not come empty handed, okay, like I mean before, like he used to give many gifts, that raisins, almonds, nuts. Today also he had brought nuts, grapes and almonds and raisins. I said again, there is a ceremony in the house and you will not be able to see anyone today. The man's face fell. He looked wistfully at me for a moment, then said, good morning, and went out. So the author said directly that today you cannot meet anyone because ceremony is going on. Then he said, okay fine, good morning, बोल के वो जा रहा. तो तब जो है ना उनका फेस जो एकदम डूब गया था. यानी he came here to meet Minnie, but he was not allowed to meet Minnie. Okay, so just सोचो कैसा फील हो रहा होगा उस टाइम. The man's face fell. He looked wistfully at me for a moment, then said good morning and went out. I felt a little sorry and would have called him back, but I found he was returning of his own accord. He came close up to me, holding out his offerings with the words, I brought these few things, sir, for the little one. Will you give them to her? So once again the Cabuliwallah returned from that particular door and he handed over some gifts to the author and he told, I have bought all these things for my little Minnie, for my loving Minnie, can you please give it to her? I took them and was going to pay him, but he caught my hand and said, you are very kind, sir, keep me in your recollection, do not offer me money. You have a little girl, I too have one like her in my own home. I think of her and bring fruits to your child, not to make profit for myself. Please underline the sentence. मतलब मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ तो मुझे कैसा फील हो रहा है. Not to make a profit for myself. Please underline the sentence and write it was a token of love. I repeat, it was a token of life. So as soon as he gave the gifts to the author and told him to give it to Minnie, then and there the author supposed to was giving him money, and then he just caught his hand. हाथ पकड़, नहीं मुझे पैसा नहीं चाहिए, आप बस मुझे याद रखना, मेरी भी एक बेटी है और मैं उसे याद करता हूँ और उसे याद करके मैं अपनी बेटी में आपकी बेटी के लिए, मिनी के लिए जो है ये गिफ्ट्स लाता हूँ. मैं यहाँ पे प्रॉफिट करने नहीं आता हूँ. Saying this, he put his hand inside his bag, inside his big loose robe, and brought out a small and dirty piece of paper. यही बोल के वो he just put his hand inside his big robe, okay, and he took out a dirty paper. एक paper जो है वहाँ से निकाला. With great care he unfolded this and smoothed it out with both hands on my table. It bore the impression of a little hand, not a photograph, not a drawing, the impression of an ink smeared hand laid flat on the paper. This touch of his own little daughter had been always on his heart, as he had come year after year to Calcutta, now Kolkata, to sell his wares in his street. So matlab just feel it everyone. Then and there he put his hand inside his big loose robe, and he brought out a paper. He just cleaned the paper very very carefully and unfolded it, and he showed it to the author. उसमें क्या था, वो कोई फोटोग्राफ नहीं था, हालांकि उसमें हैंड इम्प्रेशन था, किसका, ना काबुलीवाला की बेटी का, ठीक है. सो व्हेन एवर ही कम्स टू Kolkata for selling goods, he always carried that particular paper with him, so that it gives him the sense of being with his daughter. That means he loved his daughter too much, and remembering his own daughter, he used to come here to meet Minnie and brings fruits, raisins, almonds, nuts, that means gifts for Minnie. So somehow वो Minnie में जो है अपनी बेटी को देख पाता था, वो he could see his own daughter's face on Minnie, in Minnie. Tears came to my eyes. I forgot that he was a poor Kabuli fruit seller while I was, but no. What was I more than he? He was also a father. At that time only the author realized that there is no difference between the Cabuliwallah and the author. The Cabuliwallah was a father, and the author too was a father. So this is the main thing. यही एक मेन पॉइंट है जो उन दोनों को जो है एक साथ लाया. ओके, ही फॉरगॉट, द ऑथर फॉरगॉट दैट ही वाज मियर अ पुअर काबुली फ्रूट सेलर, बट द important point is that he was a father and the author was too a father. I sent for Minnie immediately from the inner apartment. Many difficulties were raised, but I would not listen. Clad in her red silk of her wedding day, with the sandal paste on her forehead and adorned as a young bride, Minnie came and stood bashfully before me. So finally the author called for Minnie, and Minnie came from the inner apartment. शादी था उसी दिन उनका, तो मिनी जो एकदम सज धज के थी, उसी पहनावा में मिनी बाहर आई, एंड ही स्टूड इन फ्रंट, राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ द काबुलीवाला, एंड शी वाज फीलिंग वेरी शाई. द काबुलीवाला looked a little staggered at the apparition. He could not revive their old friendship. At last he smiled and said, "Little one, are you going to your father-in-law's house?" See, the same dialogue. मतलब एक बात बताओ, जब मतलब अपने मेरी स्कूल लाइफ में जब मैं पढ़ता था ना, तो मुझे रोना आ जाता था. अभी भी ऐसे मतलब ख़राब लग रहा है ये पढ़ते हुए कि मतलब मिनी जो है वो वहाँ पे आके खड़ी हो गई, ठीक है, और काबुलीवाला जो पूछ रहा है वही कुछ सेम क्वेश्चन कि लिटिल वन, आर यू गोइंग टू फादर इन लॉज हाउस. अभी जो है मिनी को पता है, राइट नाउ मिनी नोज द एक्चुअल मीनिंग ऑफ फादर इन लॉज हाउस, बट मिनी नाउ अंडरस्टूड द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड फादर इन लॉ, एंड शी कुड नॉट रिप्लाई टू हिम एज ऑफ ओल्ड. सो पहले जब फादर इन लॉ हाउस के नाम से मिनी हंसती थी, जोक बोलती थी, ठीक है, तो अभी जाके जो है मिनी को पता है व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर टर्म. सो शी वाज फीलिंग असेम्ड, ओके, शी वाज फीलिंग शाई टू हियर दैट पर्टिकुलर वर्ड. She flushed up at the question and stood before him with her bright-like face turned down. So Minnie kept standing over there with her head down. I remembered the day when the Cabuliwallah and my Minnie had first met, and I felt sad. When she had gone, Rahman heaved a deep sigh and sat down on the floor. So the Cabuliwallah could not bear the pain. The Cabuliwallah could not bear the pain that Minnie was going to Mini was going to her in-laws house. Rahman, the Cabuliwallah, was recalling their old memories when he and Mini, both of them, used to sit, used to talk together, crack jokes, laugh together. The idea had suddenly come to him that his daughter too must have grown in his long time and that he would have to make friends with her anew. Assuredly, he would not find her as he used to know her, and besides, what might not have happened to her in these 8 years? So, seeing Mini, suddenly the Cabuliwallah remembered that definitely उनका जो बेटी है वो भी तो भी बड़ी हो गई ना, उनका भी शादी का एज हो गया है. इनफैक्ट उन्हें पता नहीं कि वो जाके कैसे देखेगा अपनी बेटी को, क्योंकि 8 साल में जो है डेफिनेटली उनका जो बेटी है वो बहुत बड़ी हो गई है. I took out a bank note and gave it to him, saying, "Go back to your own daughter, Rahman, in your own country, and may the happiness of your meeting bring good fortune to my child." So finally, the author gave him a banknote and advised him to go back to his own daughter. And ये भी कहा कि रहमान, तुम जो आए हो मेरी बेटी से मिलने, ठीक है, और I do believe that your meeting would give her a lot of happiness. Having made this present, I had to curtail some of the festivities. I could not have the electric lights I had intended, nor the military band, and the ladies of the house were despondent at it. But to me, the wedding feast was all the brighter for the thought that in a distant land a long lost father met again with his only child. So finally, here we have come to the end of this particular story, and the author believes that his daughter would be very happy, as Rahman had come to meet her when Mini was going to her in-laws house, and besides allowing Mini to meet her old friend the Cabuliwallah, the author gave a banknote to him and advised him to return to his own daughter, because definitely his own daughter might have been in the age of being married. Okay, so even seeing Mini, the Cabuliwallah recalled about of his daughter. Even तब उसे लगा कि अब मिनी जो है, मेरी भी जो बेटी है वो तो मिनी जैसी छोटी थी जब मैं आया था वहाँ से, तो अभी मिनी का शादी हो, इसका मतलब मेरी बेटी भी है, उनका भी अभी शादी हो जाएगा. सो शादी देना होगा. तो the Cabuliwallah was too feeling very sad, thinking of his own daughter, and finally the author gave him money and advised him to return to his own child. So here the story ends. I hope you enjoyed the story, and please do watch the videos. If you have any problem, do write to me, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon for regular updates. And yes, wait, don't forget to share the channel with your friends, because everyone deserves the best, and good things must be shared. You just always keep it in your mind. So आज के लिए इतना ही. गुड बाय, सब ठीक रहो, अच्छे से रहो. वी विल मीट इन आवर नेक्स्ट वीडियो विथ सम न्यू इंटरेस्टिंग चैप्टर. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग.